And here the clam is mad, clenched his fist and said, "Small animal, see how I treat you." She whispered a few words and then backed away. Then Chuckle Boots laughed high. "It's a little confusing." Seriously said, "I want you to talk to me here." It startled the dead. "She blushed and asked me to talk to you." He stupidly confirmed yes. "If not, what do you think we're going to do? Why is my face so red? I didn't get it wrong. I am a gentleman." She is silent and thinks you are a gentleman. "I'm not sure." That is, she stomped on his feet in anger and yelled out, "I hate you to die." Then turn your back and run away, to make the photographer jump like an avocado. Hugging feet full of pain. It's hard to understand why you ran away. Not what I said. I will do it according to my request. I want you to talk to yourself. It makes the eucalyptus see, but also open its mouth. And then he whistled and he went for a walk alone. The owner looks at Theo. I think this kid is hard to deal with. Although the photographer's work is a bit extravagant, but the personality isn't so bad. It's just that Van Nie is a normal human being. Smarter than people. And now he's joking around for real. I don't know if he meant anything bad. Just observe for a while and then calculate. And then he left. The photographer here also recognized the owner. Let's go back to training. Sometimes hanging a little. To irritate eucalyptus a little. It's also very interesting. Dedicated to cultivating the layout of thousands of ghosts, love spirit battle. Sometimes I look for a guy to talk to. 7 days have passed quickly. Photographer commented, "It's now stable in the white silver star. We have to wait for another breakthrough." And the cardboard sighed, "He's messed up right now. There's a lot of work to do on the table. I thought I was just here on business. I have to use my soul force to prevent divorce. It's mind-boggling." Suddenly, someone panicked to the newspaper. To become the owner of the ancient Bashu. Surprise me. Ask the president to come. He came in a few minutes later. He was walking and sneezing. He rushed into the room to greet his master. Yap Tong laughed, "Haha. Bashu inflammation does not need air. Let's pretend this is our home." Then I saw the look on her face. That makes IP10 wonder. He asked the face of the mayor. "Why is it so serious? I don't know what I'm here for this time." Neck inflammation, anxiety. Look to the left, look to the right. The police told her to rest assured. It's all me here. Even if it's a fake black gold level. They can't get in either. A cold sore throat. I said a few words I didn't know whether to say or not. The Pope asked Bashu to keep saying don't be afraid. He said I've always been skeptical. Between the gods of the world and the Dark Guild, there's a secret. You can't tell others. About a time ago, the deacon of the gods of the world led Theo, the deacon of the Dark Guild, to raid the photographer. After arresting them, we've been questioned about some of the family's tricks. They hear that. Leaf cardboard full of surprises. I didn't expect this to happen. Based on the testimony of the judge alone. Then I'm afraid it's not enough to predict the relationship between God and the Dark Kingdom. There must be genuine evidence. And of course, I know. It's not possible without evidence. Then the gods of the world suddenly bought a large amount of our knitting medicine. We've abandoned the soul hunt. It's used to find traces in that heap. Then send someone to take along 3 favorite dogs to find the missing. He hurriedly asked if he had found anything. Then she said, the dark night. After a talk, EP Cardboard Stress goes back and forth saying the power of the gods in the city of Kwang Wei. Solid can't be swayed. I can only identify these. It doesn't work. Even if there is a witness, it can't be shaken. The place of the gods. He turned to say, IP2. We also have to investigate carefully. The enemy appears to speak. It startled her. Neck inflammation says, when we first investigated the gods of the world, to attract attention, let the gods of the world be on guard. The Lord should also be careful. The priest told me to understand their families. No less than 3 people are Black Kim Love's spirit master. There is also a dark society behind it. 3 people discussed it for a while. Then neck inflammation ceremony. Excuse me. He told the mayor to go easy. After the neck inflammation leaves, the owner sighed. Recently, the number of reliable people, it is not very useful in Kwang Wei City. The higher the wall is repaired, genius is emerging less and less. Just against the wall. You can't stop the love. I'm afraid it's hard to fight those animals. The master assured the master not to worry. It's not that we still have our backs. Van Nie and photographer Sao, later for sure, they will become the pillars of the city of light. Smiling softly, I just don't know. Can the city survive until then? Whether or not this word is silent. Remember, Ra is right. In a few more days, I'm sure that Nie will be back. 2 years ago, he was king. Kim most loved spirit master. I don't know how it is now. Han eucalyptus is the nourishment of eucalyptus from a younger age than you. Get the spirit of the sea. It's very important to me. 20 years old this year. Always follow a high priest. Elders in the family. Outside training. Is an elite spiritual lover. I've been through a lot of challenges. I have always been very proud of the Korean. And even intend to foster him. Become the next owner. Spiders often think, even though the Chinese have always treated the Koreans like a child, but even though Sao, IP Han is still a foreigner. This title of owner, it should still be passed on to the children of IP Thi. Even more, now Van Nie has also shown the practice VI track Viet, successor to this owner. Maybe we'll have to reconsider. He sighed thinking, I have no sympathy for Han. Then you're right. The Holy Spirit has shown you a part. Maybe they can also show some power. If you are the owner, do you want to go and see it? He was surprised to ask the photographer what he said. The photographer said, the Holy Ghost War is divided into 8 small battles. But the power of these 8 small battles is very NDTO. More after the combination. The power is even more terrifying. To date, the photographer also did a little of that. And they can show some power. Glad to tell you to go see it. On the east side of the city. The architecture of this place is magnificent, but because 70,000 ghosts love the spirit battle, they've all been leveled. Suddenly, in the sky are the lightning on the pillars. Suddenly, a love spirit appeared bright. He looked at me and his face said, it's ruined our entire family. I also want to see it. I think this game is good. Like what he said or not. So the tiger came. He looked up and asked you when you were coming. When you get close to the startled eucalyptus, when you feel the tremendous energy. I looked up at the sky and asked, this is thousands of ghosts love Great War Sao. The photographer replied that this is not the Holy Ghost. It's just a small part of it. This is Tai. I heard that makes people stupid. Crossed photographer, knitted hands, although it's only a small part. But if you want to correct the scum of the Black Kim rank, it still doesn't matter. It makes IP a little irritated. Scum contemptuously asked, just based on this. Asked with a laugh, do you know how much you love the Dark Knight? The priest standing next to him also ran out of words. Then the priest hurriedly advised him to become the master. Maybe the photographer didn't mean to say that. He did that. It's just to help us imagine better the power of this battle. I love the Dark Knight. It can be easily ignored like that. But the photographer calmly said, I mean, what about Black Kim? It's just scum. Make the two old men as dumb as a muscle tree. He went on. This alone is enough to deal with. Makes the eucalyptus blood hot and cold. I also want to see how good it is. The photographer laughed in surprise. Lord, I want to remind you a little. This is just one, a part of the Holy Ghost. If you complete the whole process, you probably don't need to look anymore. He was surprised and asked seriously, so if we can break this fight, then why? Back to the village. If you can break it, I'll call you father. It makes you cold, full of disgust. If we can break this battle, then you must stay away from my daughter. Ask again if you can't break it. When he thought about it, the photographer said, if you can't break it, then later, you are not allowed to meddle between me and death. And I confidently agree. One word was that he jumped to the fray. But Hipley, speak up. If you have to wait until someone comes in, can bring out the power, then you're too ready. He smirked softly. It also makes you wonder if you're standing there. Quickly touch your hand, emitting flaming gas. Then two moving hands create a signature to start the battle. The sky immediately changed color. The poles lit up with the lightning. The whole body becomes injured. Action before the battle is laid out in front of the eyes. He said, there's a bit of bravery. The Buddha began to develop his soul. Luminous force surrounding the body. The source is extremely powerful. Make the photographer with IP2 next to. You also have to be silly. Suddenly, the body of the eucalyptus gradually changed. Appearance of dragon scales with muscle curls and a long tail. Make a power explosion. It now looks very ugly on the body. Strength coded. Even the photographer was surprised. It's the black forest of the Asian long SAO system. But it is love. You have the blood of the dragon. Love is not bad. Only regret that his opponent is close to the battle. He put his hands on the battlefield. The soldiers also follow orders to the city. He looked up and yelled up. Then suddenly, a leopard spirit came rushing. He recognized as Min Hung. Just this kind of love. But the Thai army can also control SAO. So he risked throwing his hands up. Two VA powers touch each other, which creates a boom. And then there's this constant rumbling, bursting out with the VA touch of these two powerful forces. He praised the boy very much. That can be brought into play. To 8 parts of Min Hung's power. And then he threw the bull straight to Min Hung's chest. Make it scream for an hour, and then go away. And then he stomped his feet on the ground. Bring out the power in the body. I see that. They want to use the dark fire. What if you get hit? Your dog will also be seriously injured. Here when ready. The clam then fluttered a dark air. Black gas rushed straight to Min Hung. That creates smog. That even the eucalyptus is full of confusion. What's this about? When you're confused, then suddenly, a force flashed by his side. Then appeared in front of the eucalyptus. It's black water seal. It releases a jet of black air and returns it to the IP. Seeing that, he hurriedly jumped up and dodged the blow. Bewildered, think of a black water seal grade black Kim. I'm afraid that I only love the Gospels. Can be destroyed. After all, the old man left it. At this moment, this spirit is constantly emitting black smoke. To attack him, rarely. Yap Tung jumped up to dodge the chaos. He exclaims it's unexpected. Thai army, close to the battle. He was able to achieve nearly 8 successes. The power of love. It's almost impossible to control this. If it gets sprayed, I'm dead. This small American army. Not only can he conquer the dark golden spirit, that we can also make them work together. It's just too scary. Thinking about here. I was in love with you 05 from above. He was amazed to think it was unexpected. In his treasury, there are so many scary souls. Suddenly around the eucalyptus, now a lot of love appears. The types of ostriches that are swarming attack. It made him howl cold and burst out with bright gas. I can see the owner like that. Surprisingly, no tiger is the owner. Of course, there is a back door. The whole body of the eucalyptus has changed. He's completely turned into a beast. Then he rushed to attack the spirit full of tigers. The clam uses its tail to strike. All the jaws of Min Hung. And then I threw myself on the ground, claiming to be just a few black Kim-loving Lin. Don't look down on me. So he jumped up and down. Go straight to the rest of the demons. The photographer laughed. Put your hands on the remote control and speak about the bird. Immediately, the two lovers opened their mouths and rushed straight to the. They joined forces to attack the eucalyptus, but he's not that easy to deal with. He threw a punch at them, causing the two spirits to fly away. The photographer is also serious. Give the controller to the other two spirits. The attack is as strong as the apricot. Two hands block two, creating a violent thunderous explosion. The owner is struggling. His arm started to shake. Realize that this is an opportunity. Conquer Min Hung quickly moved forward. The dog also immediately jumped in. That the eucalyptus can't react in time. That was knocked out by Min Hung. After this, I love Lin Min Hung so much that he screams. Extremely tiger. The cardboard side, he fell on his face. But still hurry to get up. I even know how to doubt it. More soldiers at the moment. Behind him. A demon with lemongrass inflammation opens its mouth. Deep Tan exclaims Min Hero. The force is indeed strong. I've never heard of coffee before. Love Spirit Master, which is able to integrate Min Hung Black Kim level. Immediately Min Hung Blood War screamed to pounce. The two sides ran together to live on the roof. Once was unexpected. A red source of Serpitis that's coming. It quickly wraps up the cardboard. It made him immobile, unable to move. They're confused. What do they think they're doing? When I think about it, the hero appears in front of me. It threw countless punches at the IP. Make him take a full blow and breathe. Min Hung shouted excitedly. And then he hit a 1,000-pound punch. Serous inflammation quickly release Aphid Ra. And so he got hit and crashed right into the ground. A rumble that causes the ground to break apart. At this moment, the mood is extremely complicated. In front of him, he was defeated by the demons. Lose extreme completely, not to mention losing all of his angry face. But on the other hand, I think it's strong. In this way, the Holy Spirit is stronger. It means the city has yet another card. It hasn't stopped there yet. Lovers come together. Punch enthusiastically into the cardboard. Make the photographer gaping remind. I haven't lost SAO yet. Suddenly his arm trembled. But the photographer ignored the signal. Hit hard for me. Make Min Hung growl. Then the 1,000-pound blow came. Make a bang out of the sky. And then Min Hung sat up straight on the heap. It's screaming with air. It's getting worse and worse. The noise from the ground cracked. They stood as the sky planted. I'm sweating my breath away. The owner doesn't use all his power. Even if you accidentally kill the soul. 7 is still the owner. Meanwhile, the concrete is now welding Striker. Sitting on Min Hung's ass. He's got blood pouring into his brain in a cold rage. Immediately burst out the energy of the cloud of smoke and dust. My son was blown away in surprise. The monk screamed, it's broken. The owner is angry. But a calm photographer says anger is useless. So he's controlling the demons. Launch up. The monk saw that and went to advise him to stop speaking. Let's stop this. If it continues, the owner will lose face. Or you give in. The photographer said it was okay. I made a bet with him earlier. If the battle is destroyed. Not that I won't be able to see you again. It's hard to talk when you're both equally stubborn. But Aipitsu still tried to bend down to protect the photographer. But he said that his advice was useless. Yep Tu exclaimed, the maiden and her mother-in-law have always been unfaithful. He now also accepts. Keep your eyes open to see the war continue. Retro still trying to control the love OT public too. The aphids caused him to also be fertilized in his mouth. But still won't give up. Still struggling to fight. So 2 hours went by. The eucalyptus is also breathless. I think photography is still very easy. A weapon is not used. If it's a life and death struggle, I'm afraid I'll be dead soon. It's just that we've reached the limit. But still firmly think no, we can't admit defeat. When we lose, we have to give in. The relationship between photographer and Van Nie, even I was 7 times ahead of him. And let's not talk about the fact that I've never paid. I don't know if one day I was seduced by this little word. Are in thought. Suddenly, a spirit lover seized the opportunity. Beat him up. It makes you fall to the ground. That reproduces the original form. At this time, the spirits are also disappearing. The owner is lying motionless on the ground. Slowly, the photographer went to ask, how did you become a master? You lost. Aphids lie breathless under the broken ground. I saw the photographer's face glancing at me. It made him uneasy in the cold. When the photographer grinned, he was delighted. Then suddenly, the clam's hand came, gripped his feet tightly. Then at lightning speed, held the photographer up high, to confuse him. Leaf cardboard said, Rotten boy, you've been paying attention to my daughter, but you've been trapping me. I really can't treat you. The angry photographer shouted at the boss, he said. Your words are too unkind. It makes me laugh and say, why? He spat his ass. If you say no, I can deal with you. The village chief said the soldier could die. They can't be humiliated. What did you hit my ass on? What do you think your eyes are based on? Based on the fact that I am the father of the dead. Let us see if you dare to pay attention to your future. See how I deal with you. He just kept getting his ass kicked. He shouted, do you know who you're fighting? Being angry is a very serious consequence. The village quickly left the village. I will ask you why you are angry. The old man is the angry one. Do you have anything to say? So he hit his ass hard. If he could not eat, he would crush him. Then he waved his hand and said he was dead. Immediately, the ass jerking happens. The priest standing next to him also ran out of words. He asked the boy seriously, are you dressed? He told me he was a bad toy. Do not recover the excess leaf to hit repeatedly. If you can say that, I will fight until you get dressed. And so the punches in the ass just kept coming. Makes the buttocks swollen and swollen. The police officer called him the owner. He's clearly a scoundrel. I don't care if you say that, then why? The guy standing next to me just kept quiet. The time of a day goes by very quickly. The photographer took the armrest of the flower table to his room. The indignants thought he wanted to avenge the last time the real owner. I can't believe he played him like that. Sooner or later, we will get revenge. I'm going to walk with you on the way home. The owner is going to ask the owner. Close to this battle. When I didn't finish the sentence, I laughed. How full of pleasure. It makes you stupid. He laughed happily and said it was too bad. You keep talking. When the Buddha came close to Bao Tao, he came close to this battle. Nothing is a cliché laughing out loud, haha. He can laugh his mouth off. Make IP2SA open word. Speak up to the Lord. Still waiting for you. You're done laughing. Say that after that. IP's laughter echoed through the whole city. The guards heard each other. How can I be a master today? The guy next to me asked if there was anything funny. These years, I've never seen a boss laugh like that. I have never been silent looking here. Yap Thong thought for many years because of the city. The owner has sacrificed too much. Normally, very little laughter. Sometimes I even get to see my daughter. When I was young, it wasn't like this. Maybe the current situation is good for him. The scene in the hospital of Yi Zi and so on. The photographer is dragging his body back here. He was walking when suddenly, the dancer came running. Hold him tight. Little girl with round eyes asked CACA. Where are you going? I looked for half a day and couldn't find you. The photographer hugged the dancer down, because the chair is suffering. He rubbed her head, and she laughed softly and said we had a job. Go out for a while. Suddenly, he felt someone coming. Then someone called the photographer. After he turned around, realized that it has stopped. I asked why I came here. Stop answering. I went to the hospital, and you were there. But I can't find it. I'm worried about what happened to you too. So I came here to find IP. And then I found out you moved here. He scratched his head and laughed. I came to find out what happened to me. The red-faced woman said shyly, I've just made some waffle cake. I want to bring you food. Then put the basket on hand out. The photographer looked up and sighed and said it bothered me. At the same time, I also went for a walk and saw this scene. When he saw that he was coming, he scratched his head and laughed. So she turned and left. Make a photographer fecal. Scene, I'm embarrassed by this love affair. The photographer laughed softly. If everyone was here, then let's go inside and talk. He can walk a few steps and his ass hurts. And he bent over and screamed for an hour. Stop worrying to the side. Hurry up and ask the photographer. Help him come in. Death is also curious. Turn around and look. I saw two people hand in hand together. That annoying side. Stop asking if you don't seem comfortable. The photographer replied that he had just been beaten, and his ass was swollen. Stop wondering who else hit you. The photographer gritted his teeth. It's not even the old Kier Sao. This owner, other than him, who dares to beat me. He also used the power of the Dark Knight. That we can't solve. Made Choen Gung Ni confused and asked the city lord again. He spanked your butt WHAT. Secretly wondered why did the city lord hit Nie Li. But if you hit, you shouldn't hit the butt. Oh no, I really can't imagine that family situation. Suddenly, Tu Van heard and ran over. Ask brother Nie Li, are you okay? Why did dad hit you again? Didn't he agree to let you stay? Suddenly, she with a sad face told Nie Li. You should leave soon. Father will definitely not forgive you. Nie Li bluntly said, don't worry. If your father really wants to kill me, then it won't just be a spanking. Moreover, we also help him set up the battle. This time, it was because he didn't fight. I should have played a trick that made me really disappointed. I didn't expect him to be so shameless. Ziyan immediately shouted at Nie Li, I do not allow you to say my father is shameless. He also pretended to be naive and said I was wrong. Ngang Ni asked Nie Li with concern, how do you see? Based on the strength of the Lord. Then Nie Li must have been seriously injured. Speaking of this, the corners of Nie's eyes welled up with tears. Deep thought, perhaps since arriving at the city lord's mansion. Nie Li is always being mistreated like this. Nie Li smiled and reassured me that I was okay. Ngang Hai. Just a little difficult to walk. Ziyan asked Nie Li, is there any medicine that can heal wounds? He smiled and said with a grim face, no elixir, but the healing cream has a little bit. AI sisters agreed to help me rub this. Hearing this made the two girls blush with embarrassment. Nie Li sighed and said that it was a pity for women to suffer. I can only bear a little grievance. Suddenly, Huang Ni spoke up to suggest Nie Li, I help you massage. Secretly thought, at first, we practiced wrongly. Thanks to Nie Li, I can get well now. If Nie Li is injured, we must help him. Nie Li was stunned and hesitant. The young man Van spoke up at this moment. It's better to let me do it. Whatever. Nie Li's wound was also caused by my father's beating. Photographer is dumbfounded. I thought no one would agree. Fisherman's suggestion. It's better to see Nie Li's injury first. So Tu Van agreed. Just like that, he captured two beautiful girls. Tilt the axe barrel into the room. When 3 people go in, then he turned around. Tell little Vu to stand outside. Then slam the door. Make her like a naive deer. Inside the room, Nie Li bent over the bed. Slowly lift up the shirt, under the gaze of 2 girls. Then a strange sound came from the room. Makes Cho Tiu Vu outside full of confusion. At this moment, Nie Li was trying to endure. Let 2 girls sweetly apply medicine to the butt. Two people apply medicine and blush. Look at each other shyly. Nie Li spoke up to ease the awkward atmosphere. I still remember when we were young. We were very good friends. Tu Van always kept the koala carefully. That I gave. Tu Van asked in surprise, "How do you know? I miss the time so much." That bear is my most precious childhood memory. Gong Ni is my only friend. And Gong Ni continued, "We are people of two worlds. She is the princess in the city. I am just a common girl. There is always a distance between us. Insurmountable." Tu Van said that after this, Ngong Ni suddenly stopped coming. Makes Ngong Ni suddenly emotional. Her whole body trembles, but she was so strong that Nie Li screamed. "Stop, Nie is in so much pain," she shyly says sorry. Nie Li forced a smile and said it was okay, haha. Continue to go for the next few days according to the standard. Ngong Ni also often gives Cho all kinds of food. And practice with Nie Li. Soon, Nie Li has already arranged a thunder god killing formation behind him. He told Deep to okay. We have all left our mark in our souls. His power and Tu Van. Both players can start or end this match. Deep 2 said Nie Li, "Give this seal to the Lord." But he frowned and said give it to him. Do you know what he did? What with me? Unless he comes to ask me. Otherwise, don't even think about it. After saying that, he ran away and told me I had to go practice. Make Deep to frown and think. Fear is, owner, it is also difficult to reconcile with Nie Li. But at least the answer comes from somewhere. Nie Li can also tell Yi Zong. A few hours after nightfall, soldiers are patrolling the palace. A soldier exclaimed coldly. It was a quiet night again. I think there is no AI that's stupid. Break into the Lord's mansion. But in a corner of the wall, a group of men in black appeared and broke in here. The police chief asked if you had investigated yet. What are those columns? One of the guys said it's not clear at the moment. Just a little news. There is a teenager urging the big pillar. Beat down IP Tong. I was surprised to ask again. How SAO can beat the eucalyptus. The keyer name is unquestionable. But my own eyes see. The name CA is hard to blame. The dragon wants to send us to the exploration capital. One of them said the great CA uses dark power. We're meeting with a little trick. The destruction of Kwangwi Kai City is not difficult, because the owner does not want to do it. Big name CA replied, you two despise the city of Kwangwi. The families living inside the city of Kwangwi. It's been passed down for so many years. There will be no secrets. He slowly stood up. And then we'll go on to the top 3. 7 great national treasures, hidden power. It can't be underestimated. This time, we are 7 people. You also have to be careful. Absolutely cannot be despised. We must catch the boy alive. Another name suggested the CA. You just have to stand and watch. In terms of our strength. Some Black Kim loves Spirit Master in the City Master. How can I stop it? After that, the whole bunch of them. With the wind blowing up. And the great CA stood laughing hehe, and disappeared into the smoke. Change the scene inside the castle master in the ring. The black shirts gathered together. In the middle is a floating blue stone. They're chanting. Let the jewel radiate energy down to the ancient texts. That they form. Quickly, a light source flares up. It lights up this place. The patrol could see it immediately. That ask each other the SAO side of the ring, there is light. Let's take a look. So the soldiers rushed down. When you arrive, you see.